Hey guys, Robbie Falk here from On 3 Sports and the Starkville Daily News for a little bit of a reaction from Wednesday night's huge win for Chris Jans and Mississippi State over number 5 Tennessee. The Bulldogs were able to pull out a 77-72 victory in what was every bit earned. I mean, that wasn't given to Mississippi State. They had to go take that one from Tennessee. Dominated the first half of play for the most part. You knew Tennessee was going to come back with their punch. They gave every punch they possibly could. Mississippi State took it and then laid a haymaker late in the ball game. And to me, won the ball game late on defense. We saw the second half, Tennessee scored 50 points. Last year, if you remember, pointed this out at halftime because I'm paranoid and I'm always expecting the worst from Mississippi State sports. I'm guilty, I'm sorry. Last year it was tied at 23 at the half. Mississippi State had held Tennessee to its lowest total at halftime all season long to that point. 23-23. The defense was excellent for the Bulldogs in that ball game. They give up 47 in the second half and lose that game by double digits. And you knew Zakai Ziegler, you knew Connect, guys like that from Tennessee were going to have a big half. Connect had 2 points in the first half. It was hard to believe that he would have that same half. He's one of the best scorers in the country. He was in Northern Colorado last year as well. This guy was going to come through, and my gosh, did he. 26 points in the second half. Zakai Ziegler had, I think, 26 in the ball game. But those guys stepped up to the plate in the second half, and you just kind of tip your hat to them. The adjustments that Rick Barnes made, who's one of the best coaches in the country, was exceptional. He came out, he pressured Mississippi State. Chris Jans said after the game that they hadn't really seen that on film, that Tennessee was showing them some different looks than they had seen, and it kind of shell-shocked them a little bit. And you saw that. State turned the ball over double-digit times in the second half, had 6 turnovers in the first 5 minutes, I think, and 10 turnovers like in the first 10 minutes or something like that. Tennessee quickly got back in the ball game. What was really impressive about Mississippi State is things were snowballing a little bit, and Tennessee was steadily getting back in the game, and they just kept punching back, and they kept getting back in the fight. And that's something that this program has not done in years. I mean, you're talking about a top 5 opponent coming to the Hump, which has happened several times over the last 20 years. Mississippi State's never been able to win those games. The last win they had over a top 5 opponent at home was in 2002 against Alabama. The next year, which was also 2002, but 2002-2003 season, they beat Oklahoma in I think it was the Sugar Bowl Classic or something like that in New Orleans. If you remember, I think that was the weekend that Mario Alston came back. He had missed the first few games. He came back. I think they beat Xavier. Then they beat Oklahoma. It was a big weekend. But that was the last time State had beaten a top 5 team. 2002. A lot of guys on this roster weren't even born yet. So you're talking about, 3 different coaches since Rick Stansbury have not been able to win a top 5 matchup. And that was the challenge for Mississippi State. This team took it head on. This is a tough team. They've had their ups and downs, but toughness is not a problem with this team. And that's exactly what they had to have in this ballgame, because Tennessee's tough too. And the resilience that Tennessee showed in the second half, it brought out some more toughness for Mississippi State late in the ballgame. Tennessee tied the game. Connect, I think, hit a free throw to tie the game. They could never get the lead back. Mississippi State just constantly kept getting the answers that they needed. They eventually built, I think, a 6-point lead, 5 or 6 point lead there in the final couple of minutes. Tennessee ended up tying it again with 35 seconds left, and just an exceptional play by Tolu Smith. That's just a veteran leader, a potential player of the year in the SEC, going and winning the ball game. Gets the ball in the low post, takes the contact, scores the basket, then hits a big free throw. Tolu Smith didn't hit those big free throws early in SEC play last year. He was 11 for 35 in his first 4 SEC games from the free throw line. His first 3 games back since his injury, he's 20 for 24. Tolu Smith has gone out in the offseason. He's worked to fix some of his weaknesses. And this is a guy that he scored over 20 points last night, and he's in his 3rd game back after missing the first games this year with his injury. He's not ready yet. 100%. He scored 20-plus points last night, and he's not physically ready yet as far as his conditioning is concerned. Was dealing with some cramps last night. When this guy gets to 100%, I mean, he's going to have an opportunity to live up to that SEC Player of the Year claim. He's got a chance to be, have one of the best seasons by Mississippi State center in a long time. And there's been some good ones that have come through here when you think about Lawrence Roberts, Mario Alston, Eric Dampierre, Bailey Howell. I don't think we're going to see a Bailey Howell type season like we saw in the 1950s, but I think that this could be a really special season for Tolu Smith when he gets back to full health. The good news for Mississippi State is they are in great position now. You just got a huge quad one win over Tennessee, top 5 team nationally, top 10 team in the net rankings. Mississippi State's sitting at anywhere from 25 to 26, I think, in the net rankings. That's with a loss to Southern University. Yeah, a loss to Southern University, which is hurting you right now to an extent, but it hadn't killed you. You're sitting here in great position with a ton of opportunities ahead. State's schedule is brutal in the SEC. They're not going to drop that much in their net rankings. They're going to be in position. If they're winning games in this league, if they're 500 or a little better in this league, they're making the NCAA tournament because these net rankings are going to be excellent for Mississippi State. Tons of quad one opportunities. They've only played 2 quad one games so far. They had an opportunity against South Carolina to slip away, but you erase that by beating Tennessee, a top 10 team. And Tennessee, by the way, is not going away. That's going to be a team that's got every bit of the potential to reach the Final Four. Now, they stumble when they get in the postseason a lot, but this team has the potential. Connect's one of the most gifted offensive scorers in this league and perhaps the country. What he does at that, big physical guy that can play a guard position, that can shoot it at all levels, can get to the rim. That's a matchup nightmare, and he was for Mississippi State last night. But I want to talk about, State gave up 72. That's a really good offensive team at Tennessee. They gave up 72 points. They gave up 50 points in the second half. But I said Mississippi State won the game on defense, and I truly believe that. And if you go to the last play of the game, that rings, ever more true. Great defense. You force Zakai Ziegler into a long 3-point shot. Now, he could hit that, but you'll live with that. With him shooting from that deep on the floor, that's not a high percentage shot. He's shooting, trying to tie the ball game there, airballs it, and then Connect got a shot, and Deshaun Davis comes in and strips it away. Every player on the floor for Mississippi State played a factor in that ball game. And that's what it's going to take for State to hit that next level and to win games like this. It can't be a one-man show. Last year and in years past, they've had, 2 or 3 guys that have been able to score, but they haven't been able to get the points when it mattered, or they've gone through long droughts. Last night, they had guys stepping up. Cam Matthews hitting some big shots, getting to the rim and getting fouled and getting to the line. DJ Jeffries was just unbelievable defensively, an absolute menace. He's had an incredible season on the defensive side of the ball. And if you look at his plus and minuses, the impact he makes on the floor is not felt offensively as far as his scoring. And he does still have his deficiencies there, and, whether it be turnovers or missed shots or whatever, but you cannot fully grasp just how much he means to Mississippi State from what he does defensively. Big, long guard. He can switch. The way that he switched, there was a possession in the first half. You can go back and watch it. And he was switching, I think, on Connect and maybe Ziegler. I can't remember who exactly was out on the perimeter, but the switching, he just absolutely suffocated Tennessee on the outside, and they couldn't get a shot away. And it was a shot clock violation eventually. That's the kind of stuff that he does. He's just constantly moving his feet. He's got those long arms, so he's affecting passes in the perimeter. I mean, that guy was just incredible last night, and I think he might have had 4 points. So he had 6 steals, which I think was a career high, maybe 4 rebounds or so. I can't remember, but the stat sheet doesn't really tell you what DJ Jeffries does for this team, and we saw that on Wednesday night on display. So Rams Davis stripping the ball there at the end and leading to the breakaway dunk to really put the game away for Cam Matthews. Tolu Smith, Josh Hubbard was just unreal. One of the best freshman performances I've ever seen for Mississippi State. 25 points, I think, 5 3-pointers. Just an unbelievable effort from him. And he was kind of pushing that lead out for Mississippi State in that first half. He had, I think, a trio of 3-pointers in the first half to really push the lead out. He got out to 15 points right before halftime. And that was huge for Mississippi State to build that kind of lead at the half, because Tennessee throws those punches and you have a little bit of leeway there to make sure that it didn't get out of control. And Tennessee never really fully took over the ball game. So last year it was 23-all at the break. This year it was 33-20 or whatever it was. So, Mississippi State able to have somebody that can knock down those shots this year makes all the difference. You have the defense in place. You now have the ability to make shots from three-point range, something that you haven't been able to do for a while. That's huge. Josh Hubbard has been, I've called him Mississippi State's godsend. He has been Mississippi State's godsend this year. With Andrew Taylor not panning out for him, Josh Hubbard doing what he's doing has been an absolute blessing for Mississippi State to have somebody like that, and he is phenomenal. I don't know where Mississippi State would be without him. If Ole Miss was able to pull him in with Chris Beard, they'd be in really, really good shape right now. But Mississippi State should be sending some thank you cards to Kermit Davis. I think this is a potential program-altering win for Chris Jans. Mississippi State's been waiting for something like this. They've been waiting for a win like this against a team of Tennessee's magnitude. You put that number 5 in front of somebody's name and you get those wins, that changes perception a lot. That changes a lot of the noise around the locker room. That could be good or bad. For Mississippi State, expectations are growing. You're listening to the hype a little more. They've got to stay within themselves because they have another really difficult game coming up on Sunday with Alabama. Alabama just blew out South Carolina, who beat Mississippi State the other day. This SEC run is going to be a gauntlet for the Bulldogs. They've got to maintain that consistency. They've got to bring that effort and bring that consistent play out on the floor every night. And this is a flawed team in a lot of areas. They're turning the ball over. Last night, they weren't getting out in transition defensively after made baskets that was leading to Tennessee running the other way. They've got to have their head on their shoulders a little more in some situations. They've got to play cleaner basketball. If they do, this team is capable of making a run. But they have got to play one game at a time. They got to play some clean basketball and take care of business, because this schedule, like I said, is absolutely brutal. They got to go to Lexington soon. They got Alabama coming up this week. You got Ole Miss coming down the road who's playing great basketball. I think you play Bama twice. You play Auburn twice. It's going to be a really difficult schedule for Mississippi State, but this team is built for the toughest environments, built for these tough ball games. It's just a matter of going out there and taking it. And they finally broke through on Wednesday and were able to take a game like that. That, to me, is monumental for Chris Jans, to be able to tell his guys, look, we've done this. We've gone and beaten a top 5 team. Mississippi State has not been able to say that in a long time. Like I said, most of these guys weren't even born, much less watching Mississippi State do it or doing it themselves. These guys haven't seen that at Mississippi State. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since this fan base was fully invested in basketball. I think it's coming. I think fans are starting to get over the fact that, basketball has kind of been a sore subject. You're waiting for bad things to happen. I was that way last night. I told you. I tweeted out at halftime, hey guys, this team scored 47 in the second half of last year. Just look out. And it happened. But this time, Mississippi State was able to win. They're exercising some demons. This isn't Mississippi State of old. And what I mean by that, of the last, decade or so. Maybe it is Mississippi State of old. Maybe this is a Mississippi State team of the early 2000s and the late 90s. I don't know. We'll find out. Chris Jans certainly has plenty of opportunities ahead of him. And I've thought all along, with Tolu Smith back, this team is a different animal. Tolu Smith, Josh Hubbard an offense that can actually score from the perimeter and doesn't go through these long droughts, this could be a serious team come March. But it's in their hands. This isn't one of those situations where things are going to be given to them. Like I said, the schedule is going to do them no services, and they're going to have to go earn it. And if they come out of this with 10, 11 wins in SEC play, they certainly did just that. So, I hope to see you guys at the Hump Saturday. They've already sold out reserved tickets. I think there might be some general admission left. You probably can find some of the third-party markets. Get some of those tickets in the hands of state fans. These, seeing Alabama and Auburn and Tennessee fans in the lower level, that's tough. Chris Jans is really wanting this fan base to invest in basketball. I think it's close, but it takes commitment from fans, and we'll see if that happens on Saturday. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere there for that game. Alabama has been a team State has struggled to get over the hump against. So this isn't Alabama from last year. This isn't, to me, a national title contender team, but it's a really talented team coached by a really good coach in Nate Oates, and Mississippi State has a tremendous opportunity. Now, Alabama's actually a higher-rated net team than Tennessee. They're ranked 5th coming in this game. It's another quad 1 opportunity. State can pick up 2 quad 1 opportunities in a row if they win this ball game, and you're talking about really setting yourself up if you're able to take this game. So big one coming up for the Bulldogs on Saturday, 7:30 at the Hump. We will see you there. And I'll see you guys over at On 3. Come check us out, Maroon and White Daily, $1 for the first month. We've got a ton of recruiting news coming in. Paul Jones has been the source for recruiting on the transfer portal, high school recruiting, junior college recruiting, whatever, for football. Paul does an incredible job covering men's basketball and has for a long, long time. I'm just helping out whenever I can, jumping in, writing some sidebars. Men's basketball is Paul's sport, and he does an excellent job covering it. So come check him out there. I cover the women's basketball side of things, so I got some thoughts on that. The Bulldogs are taking on Arkansas tonight at 8 p.m. in Fayetteville. Must-win game for them there with Ole Miss coming to the Hump on Sunday. So a lot of big-time games coming up for Mississippi State basketball. And the Hump's going to be bumping, I think, this weekend. Saturday, Alabama. Sunday, Mississippi State women versus Ole Miss. And we will see you there. I hope you guys have a great weekend. See you at the Hump, and we'll catch you down the road.